hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and today I have 7 all-new coastal Valentine's Day DIYs for you using supplies from the Dollar Tree. I really love how these turned out, and I hope that you do too. So we're going to start with one of the little chunky love signs from the Dollar Tree. It's actually a hanging sign, but it's definitely thick enough to kind of stand on its own, which is what I'm going to use it for. So I'm just going to remove the twine from the back. I don't really care about the staples back there. And I want to make this look like the beach. So I picked out lots of blues. These are the colors that I used for this. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to do a beach scene. Trust me, like anybody can do it. Basically, when you look out to the ocean, you're going to have like a sky, and then you're going to have lots of different shades of blue. So that's what we're going to go for. So I start with like this blue cotton color, kind of reminded me of a sky color. And I'm going to do it like on the right side. And I'm going to kind of have the beach curving in from the left. So I don't want to go all the way across with my band of the sky, but I want to cover like at least 3 letters with it. Then I'm going to go in with like a more turquoise color, do a band of that. And I'm even using like the same paintbrush. I'm just wiping it off with a baby wipe in between coats because a lot of these coats are kind of similar in shade. It's not really going to mess anything up. And I want it to be all kind of blended together anyway, so that's going to work. This color is the Caribbean blue from Delta. And we're going to do that too, kind of swirling it up to the left there so we have room for a beach over there. Now I'm going to try to do like a wet look on this, and so you could do acrylic on this, it'd be really cool, but I'm going to kind of show you a way you can do it without acrylic. The final color I use here is Cloudless, and it's kind of my softest blue color, and I am just going to blend that in, and in between the different shades of blue, just blend it together. You can always go back and add a few more different colors of blue if you want to add like just a little bit of variation in the color, and see how easy that is. I was thinking about painting the left side tan, but it's already wood. I want to add sand to it in the future, so I think that's going to be fine. It's going to blend in about the same color as the sand. Then I'm just going to go in with a finger sander, not necessarily for paint, but these signs aren't always cut perfectly and they kind of have like little splinters on them. So I'm just going to kind of clean mine up a little bit here with a finger sander. And I think that looks pretty good. Now for the heart part, I thought it'd be cute to kind of cover it up with one of the Dollar Tree sand dollars. These are the sand dollars from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. It's going to be here before you know it, guys. It comes out every spring at Dollar Tree, and I can't wait for the Shore Living line to come back. It is my time of year. So I want to go ahead and make sure it's secure. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down with some hot glue first before we attach sand to the sign to make it look like a little beach. And I think that looks really cool. It definitely gives it a nice coastal feel. And then I'm going to go in with some tan Dollar Tree sand and just some school glue. I'm just going to do a layer of school glue all over the L, part of the O, and kind of flatten that out with a paintbrush to give myself a nice even coat of school glue. You could also use Mod Podge for this if you don't have any school glue. And then I'm just going to sprinkle Dollar Tree sand all over those areas. A nice thick coat, but not too thick. And then I'm going to spray it with some of the spray glue. I get this at Dollar Tree. It's a little hit or miss at Dollar Tree being able to find it, but I love it because you can kind of glue from the top. Because once you have your coat of sand on there, sometimes you need just a little bit more glue to help hold everything down. And the glue under and the glue on top really, I think, helps for that. I'm going to carefully go in there and start the drying process on that. I also want to make sure I don't really have like any sand stuck to the sides of the letters. So I'm just going to clean that up a bit as well. And I'm also going to do like some seashells and stuff like over on the L. I think that'd be really cool. But for right now, I'm just trying to make sure that that sand is stuck down. So I did do another coat of the spray glue and dried that. Now for the seashells, I wanted like little tiny seashells. So these are the Dollar Tree seashells that come in the little glass bottles. And I'm trying to find like the smallest ones I can. But I also like want a variety. So I'm thinking tiny, and I'm trying to decide like what kind of shells I want, how many I want. I also get some little tiny starfish on Amazon. I have those posted in my shop. That's what you see there. And I'm gonna mix one or two of those in there as well. I think that looks pretty cool. And I was trying to decide if I wanted just like 3 here in the left corner. I do end up adding more. Now the trick to get these to stick is to use hot glue and then push it down through the sand. So my sand's not totally dry. It's still a little malleable. And because you want to glue to the sign behind it, not the sand. Because if you just glue it to the sand, it is going to fall off. And then I decided to kind of continue that theme all the way up. Just using more tiny shells and starfish, trying to just make it look really random, like little shells on the beach. And they're a lot smaller than the sand dollar, but I think it looks pretty cool. So I am digging how that looks, but I do want to give it that wet, glossy look we talked about. And I didn't really want to use acrylic today, so I am going to try some spray lacquer that I had from Rust-Oleum, and to make it shiny. It's the only thing I had that was super glossy, and this definitely makes it look wet, which is what I was looking for. And it was pretty easy to do. So I just sprayed that on there, gave it a quick dry, and this is how it turned out. Pretty cool, huh? I loved making these DIYs today. I think they turned out really fun. Here is like a little close-up view of my love word. And we have lots more with this coastal beach theme. Really fun for Valentine's Day. It can go with your coastal decor. You can mix it up with kind of a new theme for Valentine's Day. And even if you're not in like a romantic relationship, you can have love for the beach, right? Now the next DIY, I'm just using a Dollar Tree sign. I wanted one of the bigger ones. I think this actually had a couple pieces that might have fell off in the store, but I didn't really care. I just wanted to use the back of it anyway. It's a nice large one, and I wanted to do a really big like driftwood heart using those little wood slices from the Dollar Tree. Whenever I find those wood slices, I always try to stock up. They have like the wedges, the circles, and the sticks. The sticks are my favorite because I think they really look like driftwood. I'm going to go ahead and replace the hanger with just twine. That way I can just knot it in the front like this. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it now because I probably won't be able to get to those holes after I attach all of the wood to it. So this is what they look like. They're kind of random. As you can see, there's like different like widths. They're pretty standard in length, but they do vary a little bit. Some of them have branches and stuff like that, but all of it kind of gives you that look of driftwood, which I really enjoy. Now, if you have real driftwood, you can always use that as well. Sometimes these crafting materials can be a little bit easier to work with. I also like the Dollar Tree driftwood. It's more of a flat piece, but it's really easy to craft with too. And I'm just going to start in the center. We're going to make all of the driftwood look vertical. I thought that'd be a really easy way to do the heart shape. It's just a matter of finding 3 that are the right size, and I really couldn't since they're all about the same length, so I am just going to have to cut some of them. And now one of you guys told me that I could replace the blades here on my miter scissors. I got these miter scissors on Amazon and they are extremely dull. So I'm going to show you how I did that. There's a little nut here on the right side, and I ordered the replacement blades on Amazon as well. I think I have them both listed in my shop. And you pull out this screw. Mine was a little bit difficult to take apart, and I think it's because I've never changed the blade in mine before. So then you have this part, you can just take it out, and then it's a matter of getting the blade out. Again, mine was pretty tight, and so I went online to try to figure out to read some directions, and guess what? There's a little circle in here that you have to pop out. I popped mine out with a little screwdriver, and then the blade came right out. Now, putting the new blade in was a little tricky as well. It just took a little bit of maneuvering, and actually the little tab part here fell out on mine as well. I don't know if that normally happens, but I popped it back in, and then I'm gonna pop the little circle back in. I did struggle with that as well. I did kind of have to force that in. Again, probably just because I haven't changed the blade in mine before. Then I'm gonna pop it back in here. I'm trying to be so careful. I don't want to cut myself, but it was definitely more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Then put my screw back in and put the nut on the other side, and we have a fresh blade on the miter scissors, and they worked so much better. I can't remember who told me that, so whoever it was, thank you so much. And then you can just cut these very easily. It's probably the easiest way I have found to cut these. And then I'm just going to hot glue each piece on. Each piece is like shaped a little bit differently. So like if there's like a little twig sticking out, I'm gonna have that kind of pointing up, you know, kind of working around each other, trying to get it as tight as possible. But, you know, I left that brown backing on the background. So if there are any spaces in between the wood that is open, it's all gonna blend in together with the driftwood. I'm also trying to kind of randomize where I put the cut piece. Like on that one, I put it like kind of in the middle, and I'm just gonna keep mixing it up. So it's kind of like putting together a puzzle, I always say, when you're doing driftwood, because you kind of have to try it out first. You at least want to lay out your row. And then this one, I'm going to do the cut piece a little bit higher, just kind of thinking like when you're laying flooring and stuff like that, you don't want it to be all lined up. You want it to be kind of random looking. And that's what you want to do with driftwood. And as you can see, I even found like a curved piece there to kind of go around a certain area there. That was a little tricky. And so pretty cool. You're going to want a variety. I started with a couple of bags here, and then I actually added some more because I liked the variety of the pieces, being able to kind of go through them. So I started with 3 bags, and I probably technically only used 3 bags on this big sign, but I am actually going to open up 2 more bags just so I can kind of like have good choices to get just the right size piece. If I'm doing like a thicker piece, I try to continue that for the entire line. If I'm doing a thinner piece, I do like a whole row of them, kind of like that, to kind of keep it consistent. And I like some of the gnarlier looking ones too, and I'm trying to mix up. You can see there's like a slight variation in color too. I'm just trying to make it look super random as I work my way over here to the side. Now, you're definitely going to need a way to cut it. You could always use a saw too, but since you're like fitting and gluing and all that stuff at the same time, the miter scissors work really well, and they are very inexpensive. They do take a little bit of hand strength to be able to cut if you don't have any of those, but I really like them for projects like this. Anything that's kind of 3D, they will cut. They won't cut things that are flat. So these are 3D, and so they're, you know, round, so it's going to cut it well. I'm going to go all the way over to the edge. One piece is perfect there, and then we can start on the left side of our driftwood heart. Again, just piecing it together, cutting and gluing as we go. Now, I was trying to think how I could decorate this. I'm going to decorate it very simply because I don't want to cover up all this gorgeous driftwood art. And, you know, I've made driftwood hearts before here on my channel, and I love how they turned out. But this one has completely different feel with like the wood slice sticks. I really love it. It looks really professional and high end, and no one would probably believe that I made it with supplies from the Dollar Tree. So I was getting to this point, I was a little bit slim picking, so that's when I'm going to go in and get some more of these to kind of up my game, give me a little bit more selection. I just kind of, mark it with a pencil so I can kind of cut it to the right length. If you try to estimate, you can kind of cut it the wrong length and then have to cut it again. But again, just kind of fill this entire heart out. I'm trying to get through the voiceover on this video. As you guys know, I was really sick. My whole family was. We all got sick at Christmas. And it has been a journey because it was definitely a virus that took out our voices. And I'm still not 100%. So I'm going to have to take lots of breaks today. And I'm trying to drink some hot tea with honey to try to get me through this voiceover because it's still kind of a struggle. My son got it later and he went back to college sick, and I know a lot of you guys were concerned about him. He is feeling better. Again, he still has lingering things, but I think he's back in the groove of things. And we almost have this filled out. As you can see, I opened those extra packages, gave me a really good variety. So like this is a nice thick chunky row, and we are almost there. Now, I thought about doing a bow or something on there, but again, I didn't really want to cover up the driftwood, so I'm just going to do like a simple little coastal touch. I think one of the little Dollar Tree Shore Living starfish is going to be perfect, just to give it a little beachy touch, but not cover up all this gorgeous wood. And I like the way that these are like stained. I don't really have to go in and stain or anything like that at the end because you already have kind of a slight variety in shades of wood. And we did it. We covered the whole thing up. I'm just going to clean up any like hot glue strings or anything like that. Melt those with my heat gun and make sure everything is glued down. The hot glue I use is the Gorilla Glue. It works really well to keep stuff on like this, like even a vertical sign. I think this is going to stay together. And this is how much I have left over. That's why I said I probably only used 3 bags, but technically I used 5 bags. And then this is the Dollar Tree starfish. It's white plastic, molded, but it does kind of look real. And I'm just gonna see which little rays are touching it and just add hot glue to each one. I'm just gonna leave it the white color. I think I like the contrast against the wood, and just kind of glue it down here on the bottom right side. And I think that's perfect. I don't think it needs anything else. So this is our little driftwood heart. I did switch up the piece I had there on the left because I didn't really like the piece I had on there, but now I think it's perfect. And this is how it turned out, our little driftwood heart for Valentine's Day. Very coastal, but could also like work with any kind of like rustic or farmhouse decor as well. You might just want to decorate it a little bit differently than the starfish, but I'm going to do like coastal Valentine's Day in my entryway. I think it's going to look great. Hey guys, if you want to connect to me on social media, I do have a private Facebook group linked in the description below. You'll find out when I post new content. You'll get to see what everybody else has been making. I love that group. I also have a Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and my handle is Crafty Beach on YouTube. Okay, next DIY, I'm going to take one of just the plain white hearts from the Dollar Tree that looks like slatted wood, and then one of the little Shore Living mermaid tails. Those come in a 3-pack, so they're such a great deal for $1.25. And I always try to have extra so that I can use them year round. Now, I don't really want to leave it natural wood. I kind of want to make it more ivory. So I'm just going to go over mine with some antique white. I don't really care about covering up the pattern on there, but it will show through a little bit because I only did 1 coat. And then I want the boards of the heart to look blue. So I'm going to use my favorite color of apple barrel paint, this cloudless color. And I'm just going to do 1 coat over the white sign. I chose the white sign because I thought it'd be easier to paint, but I think this also comes in like light pink and red. And it's a smaller heart than what we did for the driftwood heart. But I love how it turned out. I think it looks really coastal, like little coastal boards. Now for the mermaid tail, I want that to hang down or be across the heart. I thought that'd be really cool, but I thought maybe we could encrust it with like seashells, because like these little seashells from the Dollar Tree kind of look like mermaid scales. So I thought we could kind of get that kind of vibe with these. Now, I was trying to find smaller ones. Mine were a little bit bigger in this bottle, but I'm trying to go through them, and I don't really care what pattern is on them, but I'm just kind of going for size on these and trying to like do them like scales down the mermaid tail. And just like the driftwood, you do kind of need to lay these out in advance so you know what's going to go where. I'm just going to do the tail part. I'll do the fin with something else. Now, you could use hot glue for this. I'm going to use tacky glue just because these shells are really small. I think that's going to be strong enough, but you can use whatever you want. So I do a nice thick coat of the tacky glue. I've used this to encrust like anchors and stuff like that on my coastal wreath and stuff like that, and it held up really well. And so I'm just going to go ahead and then put all of my shells back on here, making sure it has good contact with that tacky glue, and fill up my mermaid tail. Then I thought I could do something a little bit different for the tail fin there, just to kind of make it look a little bit different. So again, I'm going to use the tacky glue. It's nice and thick. Do a nice thick layer here at the bottom. And then I'm going to use these really tiny little shells. Again, I'm trying not to use the gray. I'm just kind of using like the tan. It's going to be kind of in the same color family as the ones before. And we are just going to go all over, kind of encrusting it. Anywhere that one will fit, I'm going to try to put one down in that tacky glue to glue that on. And it gave it a really cool look. I'm always looking for fun ways to do a mermaid tail for, like, you know, the mermaid signs or the mermaid tail signs. There's so many fun ways that you can decorate them. Just a few more pieces. I do have a few more exposed wood pieces here. I want to make sure that I have really good coverage. And it looks like a little fin down there for our mermaid. And you have a little bit more work time when you're working with the tacky glue too. I did go ahead and spray it with some of the spray adhesive from the top too, just to try to make sure it is good and secure. And then I went in with my heat gun and gave it a quick dry. Sometimes it's good to let that sit for a while, but I was kind of in a hurry because I wanted to get more crafting done for you guys. So I was able to dry mine pretty well with a heat gun. Now for the heart, I'm going to go ahead and replace the hanger just with some twine. Again, knotting it in the front. I just find that the Dollar Tree signs always hang flatter against my wall when I hang them like this. And it looks pretty good too. So I just feed that through. I don't want too long of a hanger. It's not too big of a heart. And I absolutely love how this turned out. I kind of had this idea like in my mind, but actually seeing it come together, it turned out so cute. We are going to add a few more details to it as well to kind of give it more of a Valentine's Day vibe. But I do want it to look coastal farmhouse, so I'm going to take just a little bit of antique white here and just distress in one direction to kind of make it look like weathered blue boards from the beach. Just a very light dry brush, and then I'm actually going to hot glue this on. I didn't leave the hanger exposed or anything like that. I thought we could just hot glue it. You could always dangle it down, but I think that way is a little bit easier and have it kind of come down the side of the heart. The blue also kind of looks like the ocean, so that's cool for a mermaid. And then I'm going to use one of the little craft board Be Mine from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree and a couple of their little wood heart stickers. Now, you know, these little craft wood pieces from the Dollar Tree definitely need to be painted. They're made out of kind of a cardboard material, though. I always feel like they might fall apart a little bit when I'm painting them. So I'm doing a nice thin coats of ivory on these. But as you can see, they're definitely flexible. They're cute, but I prefer the wood if I can get it. But I thought this sounded like Valentine's Day, and I found that the Valentine's Day selection at my Dollar Trees right now is a little slim. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the 2 hearts too. I flipped one around so I could have them going in separate directions and just removed the sticker on the back. And then I'm going to dry them, go over the Be Mine with another coat because again, that craft board material really soaks in the paint. But I thought that this ivory, like antique white color would be a nice contrast against the blue boards. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue my Be Mine on right up here to the top right. Kind of have an open spot there in my heart. And then we can just attach the little hearts kind of down, just randomly going down the sides. I know that they're stickers, but I like to hot glue mine on. It makes them a little bit more permanent. And this is how it turned out. Our little Be Mine mermaid tail with like the shell encrusted mermaid tail. I think it turned out really cute, and I think it's going to look really cute with my coastal decor in my home. What do you guys think about this one? I think it's really whimsical and fun, and you can definitely tell it's a Valentine's Day decoration as well. Next DIY, we're going to DIY one of these tinsel hearts from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by removing the hanger. I really dislike the tinsel on these things, but it's got a great plastic cage underneath, and it's nice and large. Now, you could do the same DIY that I'm going to do with the metal heart wreath form if you want. I do have that one too, but I thought it might be a little bit easier to glue to the plastic versus the metal, but I think either one would work. So I'm just going to unwind all of the garland. It makes a little bit less of a mess when you unwind it than cut it. And start with our Dollar Tree rope. This is the white nautical rope from Dollar Tree. It is the 6-foot length. And I use a total of 6 of them on this project today. Almost exactly 6 of them. So I'm going to start with 3. So I went ahead and opened up 3 packages. I'm going to keep it all one long length so I can make it all the way around my heart. They do have plastic tape on the end, and I don't want that to be visible at all, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And I want to do a fun braided rope theme on this, and it turned out so cool. So I first want to gather the first 3 pieces together. So I actually just kind of hot glued those together. Let that set up a little bit, kind of making it all one piece so that we can braid it. I'm just going to do a traditional braid like you would do with hair. That way it can kind of lay flat against our wreath form. But once this is dry, I kind of try to cinch it up a little bit to kind of make it a little bit smaller. But we're going to start on the outer row. It's going to take 3 braids to make it all the way around this because it's a nice thick heart wreath, and I think this is going to look so cute on my door for Valentine's Day. So I went ahead and replaced the hanger now because as you can see, I'm going to cover up the little hole there. So it's going to be kind of hard to get to that later. So I just tied some twine on there and then hot glued this over that area where it kind of all comes together. I make sure I let that set up for a little bit, and then we can start braiding this. Now, when you're braiding it, it's also going to kind of tangle up the rest of your rope. And so I did like just a small part there. As you can see, it's kind of doing a reverse braid on everything else. Since it's a nice 6-foot long length on the rope, I just go ahead and do a section at a time and then kind of untangle it there. Now I just hot glue it to that outer band of the heart. As you can see, definitely going to take 3 of them to cover the whole thing. And then I can start on my next section of the braid. I braid a little bit and then unwind everything, and then we can go in and start gluing it. I did find that if you kind of unwind it as you go, it makes it a little bit simpler. But you can lay it on there nice and flat like this, hot gluing it down. But kind of one section at a time. If you do like 1 braid and then just kind of like string it out is what I'm doing, because I do want to try to continue the 1 piece of rope to make it all the way around so I don't have any stops and starts. I'm going to have all of my stops and starts at the top so I can cover that part up at the end and kind of make it look intentional. Now, you can even go around crazy surfaces like this point at the bottom of the heart because, of course, the rope and the braid is very flexible. So I just glue that down, keep braiding one section at a time. As you can see, I'm only doing about maybe 5 inches of braid at a time and then gluing it down. And then I have plenty left over to come all the way around. I actually had, I don't know, maybe a foot or so left here at the end. And then I'm going to, well, maybe a couple feet. I'm going to glue it all together here at the end, kind of like what we did to start it with. And then I'm going to go in with some heavy duty scissors to kind of saw through that rope and cut that off. And that was a great way to do it because it kind of kept everything together. Gluing that to the top part of my heart, kind of making it go next to right where I started as tight as I can, but leaving room for the other rows of braid. So this is how much I had left over. So I'm going to go ahead and open 3 new packages. Now, this was plenty to do the other 2 rows of the heart because, of course, they're going to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go ahead and cut the plastic tape off these. We're going to gather these together at the top with hot glue like we did before and glue that onto that cage. This really didn't take as long as I thought it would be. I thought it went a lot faster than like if you're wrapping a wreath or something like that, but the results were really cool. I'm really glad that I decided to do the braid. At first I was just gonna kind of wind it around, but this definitely gave it a really unique handmade touch. I love it. I glued mine onto the middle and then just started braiding like we did before. And this is going to be the shortest row. This is the inside heart. So it really didn't take very much of the rope at all. And I had plenty left for the middle section. I'm trying to overlap enough where you won't be able to see any of the plastic cage or tabs, but not too much because I want to be able to have good coverage with my final row of braid. Again, when I get to the tip of the heart, I just kind of glue that down, twist it around, and you can bend that little point very easily with a flat braid like this. And as you can see, this one was very simple. If you wanted to do just a single rope braid, you probably could. I can't think of anything from the Dollar Tree that they have that is like a cutout heart like this, but you might be able to make something out of foam board or something like that if you wanted to kind of freehand cut one. But they do have lots of these kind of like wreath forms available, the metal one and the tinsel one that has this plastic cage inside. Now for the third row, it's getting kind of full up here, but I was able to kind of work mine in, gluing that into kind of the hole there. And we're gonna keep braiding and gluing this down. And I was worried that you were going to be able to see some of this like red cage through, but I was able to get it pretty good and tight where you can't see it. And you can kind of see now how it's all going to come together. 3 rows of the braided nautical rope. It turned out so pretty. We are going to decorate it a little bit too, give it a few more coastal touches, but actually on its own, it like looks so cool. Again, I get to the point, just keep working it around and braiding the rest until I can get all the way up here to the heart, making sure that when I put the glue on there, I'm gluing like the line of the heart, but also like the little side pieces as well to kind of give me a little bit more area to have contact with. And again, when I get here to the end, I'm just going to hot glue it together first before I cut it. It's going to give me a nice finished edge. It's going to kind of keep everything together, and it's going to kind of reduce any fraying of the rope. I don't want any of that. As you can see, I have lots of hot glue on my silicone mat. So the silicone mat works really great if you're hot gluing a project like this. I'm going to try to burn off any of the little hot glue strings. And then I did go in any areas that kind of had a gap like that between the braids. I did put a little bit of hot glue in there. You can kind of hot glue the rope to itself to kind of fill up any holes that you might have to make it look all more consistent. Isn't that so cool? Now for the top part, I do have a little bit of extra rope from that first heart that we braided. And so I'm going to use that to kind of make a little strap to go around the middle part of the heart here. It's going to cover up all of the loose edges and make it look more complete. The back kind of looks like a hot mess with all the hot glue, but you're not really going to be able to see it back there, so it doesn't really matter. So I hot glue my 3 rows here, trying to leave enough room to be able to wrap it around and glue the other ends. So I wrapped mine around. I did the center one through the hanger. That way it would hang straight, and glued that one down first. Then I'm going to do the other 2, cutting those down to size and gluing them on the sides of the hanger to make sure everything stays together and hangs nicely in the end. And this was definitely wide enough, the 3 pieces of rope, to cover up all of the loose ends of the rope. And if your hot glue is too crazy, you can try to clean it up a little bit with a heat gun. But again, I don't really care. I'd rather have the glue on there and have the rope attached than not. And kind of arrange it here on the front to make sure all of my loose fibers and everything is covered up by the finished rope. I did a pretty good job of keeping it all in that same area, so it was pretty easy to cover it up. Again, you're going to have hot glue strings and stuff like that. That's why it's always handy to have your heat gun. And then I was going to just try to decorate it. I was thinking the Dollar Tree Shore Living Starfish would be really cute. I thought about covering the whole thing with starfish, but then I decided, less is more. I'm only going to do one side of the heart and do 3 of them over here on the side. Now, I don't want to leave them white. The white against the white, I don't think provides enough contrast. If you were doing the brown rope, I think that would work, but I want to add a little color. So I'm going to do Cloudless by Apple Barrel acrylic paint, and these little plastic starfish from the Dollar Tree are so easy to paint. I'm only going to paint the front. That's only the place that you're going to be able to see, but I do make sure that I get on the sides of each one of the rays too. And 1 coat of the acrylic paint is plenty. I'm going to do them all the same color and then attach them just to the bottom right side of the heart. And I think that turned out really beautiful. So here's our beautiful braided rope heart. Gonna kind of arrange these on here like this. And then it's just a matter of hot gluing those onto my wreath. And I'm really glad I decided to make this DIY. I was trying to think of what I could do for my front door for Valentine's Day, and I think this is going to be perfect. It's not super hot here in Florida in February, so I think all my hot glue will hold up just fine. I do have slight protection to my front porch for weather and stuff like that, but I think it's going to be just fine. So I glued all 3 down, and this DIY is complete. Our little braided rope heart for Valentine's Day. Doesn't that look so cool? I think it looks so coastal with the rope and the braids and the starfish, but I think really beautiful for Valentine's Day as well. And it's definitely a work of art. Everything you see there is from the Dollar Tree, and just a really fun DIY to make today. If you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. That always helps my videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, next DIY, I picked up a little rope love sign from the Dollar Tree. It actually wasn't Valentine's Day, it was just home decor. But I thought that would be really cute to make a coastal Valentine's Day sign with. I'm going to use one of the little Dollar Tree wall shelves. I love using these to make signs because they're nice and thick and flat wood. I'm only going to need 1 for this one. It's going to be plenty big enough. And then I just had some scrap wood left over in my garage that I had cut down but Dollar Tree craft would probably work as well. I just want to do a base because I want to make a standing sign for the love sign. Now, if you can't find that love sign, it'd be really easy to recreate with Dollar Tree rope. You don't really need the wood part. It just kind of was an easy way to do it. And now for the background sign, again, I want to make it look like the beach. And I'm picking out just all my colors of blue again. And I am just going to show you how easy it is to do a beach scene as well. I always tell everybody that they can do this. It is really simple to do, and it's very forgiving. So if you mess up, you can always fix it. So I'm going to do a nice layer of Caribbean blue and then like this cotton blue up here for the sky, just blending it all together. My first like painting DIY that I made when I came to Florida is I took an old painting from my old house that had flowers all over it, and I did like an abstract beach scene, and I love it. I still have it hanging up above my TV in my living room. It was so easy to do. So I just kind of alternate the different shades of blue, and I'm also going back and blending them all together. Again, just using the same brush, just kind of wiping it in between the different shades. And I was trying to use the same shades that I used earlier, but I don't know what I did with one of them. So I kind of mixed it up with another color, the Caribbean, cloudless, blue cotton, and Caribbean blue, and the Delta is from Target. The other ones are all from Walmart, or I actually get the Apple Barrel on Amazon Prime now. I didn't have a color for sand, so I kind of mixed the brown that I had with some white to kind of give me a sand color, and I'm going to do that here at the bottom. Just a little stripe of beach down here at the bottom of my sign. I'm not going to do sand on this one, but you totally could if you wanted to. And kind of blend that in together. I also want it to kind of look like sea foam. So I did some white acrylic too, trying to do like a sea foam look where the ocean meets the beach. Just kind of pouncing that on there, blending it in. I didn't think it was, I think it blended in a little bit too much, probably because my paint is still wet. So I'm going to go in here and add a little bit more white. And again, just blend it in. I can also use that white to kind of go in and do some sea foam. I can also use it to kind of give me some wave action out here in my ocean. Again, kind of blending it all together with my different shades. I just want a very abstract beach scene. And it's just a little bit of working with it, but so easy to do. I think that's going to provide the perfect background for my little love sign, and it's just the right size. And I thought this would make a really good shelf decoration for Valentine's Day. I'm actually going to put mine, I think, on my console way in my entryway. And here is the little love sign. Just like with regular rope, I'm just going to burn off any of the fuzzies on there. It's pretty clean, but it had like a few strands. And you can kind of see, if you can't find this one, how they formed the word love with the rope. Again, it would be really easy to recreate with Dollar Tree rope. This actually had hangers on the back, which I don't need. So I'm just going to unscrew those and save those for another DIY. So I have a flat wood surface here on the back. It's going to make it super easy to glue down. So I just do a bead of hot glue all over the word love and attach it to my sign. I don't mind the holes on the side of the shelf. I think they look nice and rustic. And just pressing that down, super easy. Now I do want it to stand up. You could make it a hanging sign with the holes on there though. So I cut my craft wood down to size. Actually, this was scrap wood that I had in my garage. And I'm going to mix like a driftwood color by using the antique white mixed together with a little bit of antique wax by Waverly to give me this nice shade of driftwood, because that wood was like really yellowish looking. It didn't look very coastal. And I'm going to go over the top, the front, the back, and both sides with that color, kind of staining it on there. I do like a little bit of the wood grain showing through, so I kind of wipe it with a baby wipe as well. And then I go back in and distress it with just the antique wax by Waverly to kind of accentuate like the wood grain, kind of make it look like driftwood color, which is what I was going for. I'm going to distress the front of it too, because you're going to be able to see that. And just kind of blend that in as well. Just kind of working in one direction so you still get that wood grain like striation, but it took away all of the yellow out of this wood. And it was a little rough, this wood. So I did have to sand it down a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. Now to attach it here to the front, I thought I could just glue it on. It is a little heavy with the wood and then the wood sign and the rope though, so I thought maybe I should reinforce it to make it a little bit stronger. And I'm just going to do that with some of the Dollar Tree little mini Jenga blocks. But first I'm just going to use the Gorilla Glue hot glue, do a bead on the bottom of the shelf, and glue that on the base, trying to center it on here. But I left plenty of room here in the back so that I had room for braces. I'm only going to do 3. I just put glue on the bottom and on the shelf to kind of brace it, just make it a little bit stronger. And then just let that glue dry. Super easy DIY. And I think it turned out really pretty. What do you guys think about my little love ocean sign? Again, we did the very easy like ocean scene abstract painting on the back with the rope love word. Definitely looks coastal or nautical on it as well. And then the base, I tried to give that weathered driftwood look from the beach. I think it turned out pretty cool. It was definitely an easy DIY, and I think it's going to look really cute with my coastal decor for Valentine's Day. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment out of today's video and let you know that I have introduced memberships. For $4.99 a month, you can get early ad-free access to my videos, and it's a quick, easy way for you to support me here on YouTube. All you have to do is hit the join button under this video. Okay, next DIY. This is one of the little burlap 5x7 canvases from the Dollar Tree. I love these. They come in 5x7 or 8x10, which I love because they're standard sizes, so you can use frames like this from the Dollar Tree. This one's like a weathered white sign. I thought that looked really coastal. I just removed the glass and the staples, and I'm gonna reinforce the corners with a dot of hot glue in each corner because when you put the canvas in there, it kind of can stretch or break your frame a little bit. Now for the heart for Valentine's Day, I'm going to use a wood heart from Dollar Tree just as a stencil and use a white paint pen to kind of sketch out a perfect little heart here on the front of the burlap. And then we're going to use some of my favorite, the Dollar Tree macrame cord in white. And we're going to do a little bit of rope art for a heart for Valentine's Day. The rope looks very coastal, especially against the burlap and with that weathered frame. I just start right here at the very tip of the heart, and I am just gluing straight to my sketch of the paint pen for the first row of the heart, just kind of doing one section at a time. Make sure to protect your fingers there if you're hot gluing. I like to use the little hot glue finger protectors from Dollar Tree. And just keep that same string going for the next layer of the heart. As you can see, I'm only doing one little section at a time here, however much I can kind of glue down before my hot glue starts to set up a little bit. And I'm trying to keep it as tight as I can. It would be cute with just an outline of a heart, but I'm going to go ahead and fill mine all the way in. I thought that would look cool. So I just keep following that same heart pattern that we made with the stencil and just keep going until we have a little heart. You get kind of like almost a triangular shape here at the end, but this macrame cord is nice and skinny enough that it's pretty easy to get it exactly where you need it to be. And this is one of the little cake decorating tools from the Dollar Tree. You guys ask me a lot what that is. It works great for hot glue, these little tools. I like to pick those up as well. I go all the way to the very center, trying to fill the whole thing up with rope, but I also don't want like any exposed hot glue if I can help it, because I don't want my macrame cord to look yellow or anything like that. So I try to do as cleanly as possible. And then just kind of burn off any excess glue strings. And now we can put this together. So there's the frame. I'm going to pop it in. Now it is a canvas board, so it's thicker, so it's going to stick out the back. I just do a bead of hot glue on each side, working that in. Again, I reinforced my corners so that it would not break on me. Those Dollar Tree frames can be a little finicky. And then I want mine to stand up, so I saved the back of my frame, and I'm just going to attach that to my burlap canvas with hot glue all the way around. That way I have a stand. And so you can totally use the Dollar Tree frames with the burlap canvases. And I think this turned out really cute. It was very easy to make. And, this doesn't necessarily have to be coastal. This could go with just about any style. I did have a little bit of hot glue that you could see there, so I tried to clean that up a little bit with my heat gun. And this is how my little macrame heart turned out. Super cute. If you wanted to add like a little coastal touch, you could add like a starfish or something on there as well. But I think the rope and the burlap and that distressed frame really gives it that coastal farmhouse vibe that I was looking for. And it was really easy to put that one together. Now, the next DIY, I wanted to make some Valentine's Day coasters. So again, I'm going to use a wood heart from the Dollar Tree. And this is the thinner white rope. This is the 11-foot white rope. And I thought the thinner white rope would be easier for this DIY. I'm going to start with just a piece of white felt that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I am just going to use a Sharpie and sketch out 2 heart shapes on there. That way the back of my coasters have a nice felt surface, and it's going to be something that I can use to attach the rope to it. And then I'm just going to cut this out. I want it to be a perfect heart shape, so I don't really care if I'm including the marker line. That will be on the side with the rope anyway, so you won't be able to see it in the end. And I just cut out 2. I'm only going to do 2 coasters. I'm doing these for my coffee table, and I think I only need to do 2. There's only 2 of us around here now. Empty nesters. And then this is the Dollar Tree rope. Again, this is the skinnier one. I find that this one's a little bit harder to find than the 6-foot, because I went through my huge rope stash and I didn't have very much of this. Now I am going to start with the end of the rope being at the very tip of the heart, hot gluing that down. I'm also overlapping the edge of the heart just a little bit so that you won't be able to see the felt in the finished project. And it's kind of the same construction as the macrame heart, because once we make it all the way around the heart like this, we're just going to keep it going. 1 piece, less loose ends, and just gluing 1 section at a time, we're going to fill out the heart. Now I cut like both of the hearts the same size, but anytime you're hand making something like this, they actually turned out differently. And I kind of like that. I like that the hearts are shaped a little bit differently. It makes them look more random. Here at the end, I tried to make sure I cover all of it, and I kind of glue down the very tip, trying to make it look as clean as possible, and try to kind of glue together any gaps in the rope there, because the center part can be a little bit tricky. And we have 1 little rope coaster for Valentine's Day. Definitely coastal, very sweet, and very easy to DIY. I do put a little glue here on the end so that it doesn't fray the very end of the rope and kind of keeps it all together in 1 piece. Super cute. I'm going to use that same piece of rope to do our second one the same way. Again, I'm going to start at the end, and I did it exactly the same, but again, the felt kind of stretches, the rope kind of stretches, so you kind of get a little bit of a different look, even though you did it the same way. So again, just continuing that, kind of gluing 1 section at a time. You can kind of go a little bit crazy on this and do like half the heart at once. And then I think this is what probably made it look a little bit different. Maybe how I did the last piece and how it kind of all came together. But like the first one was kind of like a tall heart, and this one's kind of like a wider heart. But again, I kind of like that. I again glue the loose edges of the rope to make sure that they don't fray and that they look as nice as possible so that I can display these for Valentine's Day. I think these will work well for coffee cups or whatever I want to sit on my coffee table. And I really like how they turned out. I've always wanted to do a rope coaster, and I don't think I ever have. See the difference in shape? Slight difference. They have the felt back. You could do that in any color you want. And if you wanted, you could even do like the brown rope color for these. That would look really cute as well. And this is how they turned out, our little rope coasters for Valentine's Day. These would make a great gift as well. You could do like a whole set of them, tie them together with some red ribbon, be a super cute gift that anybody would enjoy. And you've made it to the final reveal. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you got lots of crafting inspiration. Be sure to include your favorite DIY in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Enjoy the final reveal.
Devotion that brings me down. That without my love for the ocean, I will be no one. No
Thank you so much for watching, and I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of my Crafty Beach Bum members. Thank you to Coastal Couple, Karen O'Haron, Pamela Bergeron, I Am Mojo Jojo, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Carrie R., Tracy Knight, Verna Nachtigall, Nancy Wunner, Julie Miller, Tammy Coates, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Whitney Harrison, Maria Grace, Donna Schreiner, Tina Kane, Heather Hart, and Sandy C. Thank you so much for supporting my channel here on YouTube. As a small creator, it does really help. If you would like to join the membership and get early ad-free access to my videos, it is $4.99 a month, and you can cancel anytime. Now, if you're looking for more crafting inspiration today, YouTube thinks that you might enjoy this video right here. Happy crafting and happy Valentine's Day.